Today, we are going to be making custom weapon VFX, and I'm going to show you how. To begin, go to your mod folder in the resource manager. Make sure that you have the following folders in the following order. You need a folder named Assets, and within that folder, you need a folder named Effects. Within that folder, you need another folder named Effects, the exact same way, with a capital E. And within that folder, you need a folder named Actions. Inside that folder, you're going to place the folder Cast and the package Cast. You can add these folders to your mod folder by selecting it and going to the top of the resource manager. On the top left, you can click the Add Folder button to add folders, and 2 spaces to the right of that, where my mouse is now, you can click the Add Package button to add the cast package. I'm going to highlight them all so you can see the folders I'm referring to. The reason we're creating this is because once we edit our VFX file, we're going to save it via the effects manager into this cast package. And I believe that should generate automatically another file in one of these folders. So now that we have our folder structure set up in the resource manager, let's begin the process of actually creating a weapon with a weapon effect on it. Let's grab a random weapon from the root template manager. We'll use this Viconia mace. I'm going to create new from selected, and I'm going to select my mod. We won't be able to change the type here. We're going to name this something. Now that we have this, now that we have our own version of this in our root template manager, let's copy the visual resource ID so we can go edit it. We're just copying the name here. I'm going to go back to our all folder in the resource manager. And we were looking for this. We're looking for the resource version of it, the visual resource version rather, with the teapot icon, with the same name as what we copied. We're going to create a new one of these and put it in our mod. For this one, it shouldn't matter where it goes, just as long as it's in our mod. So we have a copy of the visual resource. We're now going to go grab a visual effect under this orange filter called Effects. We can grab any one that we want. Let's use this one. I'm going to create a new one of these, but in this case, it needs to go in a special folder or we're going to have problems. It's one of these. Unfortunately, this window isn't letting me see the entire path. Okay, so the folder we want to put this visual effect in is the Assets, Effects, Actions, Cast. Not the other one. Not you won't even have this because it won't have generated yet. But it does not go in Effects, Effects Banks, Effects Actions Cast. Just Assets, Effects, Actions Cast. So now that this is in the correct folder, we can actually edit it. So now that we have our VFX in our new folder, which I should note for now, may actually not be required to be in this folder. We're going to want to take note of something. The source file in this little tab under the preview window will show where this visual effect is pointing to for its resource. So right now, it's pointing to a shared dev location, which is not good because we don't want to overwrite game files. So right now, if we were to try to edit this visual effect, we would instead be editing this file in public shared dev, the VFX Actions Cast Ally Summon Horn Text Key 01 file. So we don't want to do that, but we're still going to open this file in the editor because the workaround involves saving a new file. So this is the visual effect editor. I will go into more detail about the visual effect editor in a different video, but for now we're just going to show the process of getting a basic visual effect up and running. Just so that we can show changes, I'm going to go ahead and make some. We're going to get rid of everything here except for the bounding sphere, the floor, the light, and the billboard. The bounding sphere is one of the requirements for a visual effect. So if we did get rid of that, this wouldn't work at all. This is what our visual effect looks like now that we've disabled everything. I'm going to edit the billboard track and add a little bit of color. A nice deep purple. And it's going to go between purple and green. Okay, let's play that and see what it looks like. So we can see the purple and the green, showing that we did make an edit. I'm going to show you how to loop it. On the top portion of this timeline editor, you can see the word phases, just barely because it's kind of chopped off. We're going to add a lead in by right-clicking on that. And then we're going to add a loop. If you try to add the loop without the lead in, you're going to find that you have trouble getting it to actually loop like you want to. You can change the size of the loop to change the behavior, and you can see the effects live in the preview window. So this now looks like a good persistent glow effect. So I'm going to go ahead and save it like this. Now, when you you're going to save as, and when you open this, it's going to put you somewhere deep in the folder structure in one of the effects folders. We're basically going to put this file in our version of this folder. So I'm going to back all the way back out to data. Ours is in public under the name of our mod. We're going to go to Assets, Effects, Effects Banks. Oh, this is the wrong one. So we're going to go to Public, Your Mod, Content, Assets, Effects, and we're just going to follow this path until we get to the Pack Cast folder. This is where we're going to save our file. Now when you hover over at the top here of the effect editor in this tab, you can actually see the file name, that it's been changed. So we're going to compile the effect. And because we don't fully know this process yet, we also compile all VFX for current module. We're not currently sure if this step is necessary. And then we click Save. We should be able to close the effect editor. You'll note that the effect here has not changed, and that's because we still need to change the source file. So we're going to select our effect, go to the source file property, click the three dots to open the file browser, and we're going to go back out to public, and instead of shared dev, we're going to go into our mod. We're going to go navigate to the file, not the file that we just made. Actually, yes, the file that we just made. Nope, that's the wrong one. Let's go back out to effects. There we go. Okay, so I'll explain that again. We're going back to our mod in public, and we're going to assets and content. We're going to effects. This time we're going to effects banks. You're going to find a file here that you did not save. We're going into effects, actions, pack cast, and we're going to find these two files, or well, just this one. This is the LSFX version of the LSEFX file that you just saved. We're going to select this as the target or the source file. And now when we select this, we should see our visual effect. Now that we have this visual effect, we need to apply it to the visual object that goes on the weapon, and then we need to apply it to the weapon's root template. So let's do that. Let's click on our mod. I have the effect. Oh, we've only filtered by effects. There we go. So this is the Viconia Mace visual resource. We're going to double click this in our mod to edit it. And we're going to go to the attachments tab at the top of the edit visual pop-up. We have a bunch of fields here. We're going to be putting something in the dummy FX01 field. So let's move this. Let's select our visual effect that we just edited. You can see the preview is correct. Now that we have it selected, go over to dummy FX01 and click this little arrow. We've just added the visual effect to this visual resource. We're going to click apply, hit OK. Now we can go back out of the resource manager. In our editor, we're going to find this mace. We're going to change the visual resource to our own. We don't want to use the effect. We want to use the visual resource. So maybe name it a little more smartly than I did here. Let's spawn one of those in now and see what happens. There's our visual effect. It's working just like it should be. Let's pick it up and test it out. Wow, that's a lot of glow. Maybe too much glow. Keep on glowing, Will.